Hi guys, welcome to my video and my YouTube channel. Today we will be going through part 5 of this ultimate, legendary, epic procedural dungeon generation tutorial. Holy shit, that's a lot. And this will more or less be a video where we kind of round things off, right? We're just adding the last few things we need for this tutorial to be kind of complete. We will be adding a boss room to the dungeon, something that many people have asked for. We will be adding an exit zone to the dungeon, so you can get out of the dungeon if you have the right amount of coin. And we will also talk about some other smaller things, but let's just get right into the tutorial. Alright guys, it's been a while since I've been inside this project. So I'm just hoping that we have set everything up so it's easy to find what we're looking for here. We'll see when we start diving into this again. So in this video I will mostly go into things that you guys have asked me to go into. I mean, there's a lot of things that people are requesting that I'm simply just can't figure out how to do, so I won't go into that, of course. I have also gotten a lot of requests about things that will kind of turn this into a real game prototype, right? How can you make a boss fight? Can you make a health bar? You know, stuff like that. That I will of course not go into in this video, but I mean, I will more or less keep the focus on what I think is missing to complete this dungeon tutorial. I mean, this could go on and on and on with one thing after another, but I need to stop this at some point, and that point is part 5 right now. I mean, there's a lot of things to maintain when you're doing a big tutorial like this. Like, I'm getting a lot of questions, and I'm getting a lot of people who is having problems with one thing or another, because they're using a different version of Unreal that I have been using for this video, which of course in part 1 I should have said very clearly which version of Unreal I'm using. And but I didn't know there was going to be all these problems with rooms are scaling up and down, and int holes are not getting capped and things like that. Things that I have no problems with when I'm doing it in this version of Unreal, so I have no idea what people are talking about when they run into these problems. There's also the fact that I'm kind of running out of steam doing these huge videos, right? It just started as I just wanted to do something simple with a procedural dungeon, and then it just escalated into something a little bigger than I anticipated, right? And it just, these videos takes a long time to make. So this part 5 has been a long time coming. I just haven't had, you know, the energy and motivation to start on part 5. Anyways guys, that doesn't matter. I'm finishing this part 5 now, and then I have learned a lot from making this big tutorial, so maybe I can take that with me on my next big tutorial. It's not like I don't want to do any big tutorials anymore. I was just a little surprised at how much work it actually is to do. So maybe I will be a little more prepared the next time, right? I just started with part 1 here and wasn't really expecting it to go further than that. But you know how it is. So let's see where we are here. Let's press play and see what we get. Where we left off from last time, right? So we're getting a dungeon. We got 2 elevator rooms. We got coins, we got chests, we have enemies, we have a player character somewhere. So that is all fine and dandy. One thing I want to, okay, let's just open up the dungeon generator here. A thing I want to show you first. Some people have asked me how to make a linear dungeon out of this. And it's actually very easy. We go into delete latest room if overlapping, go into that part, and if nothing is overlapping, and you know, we are placing down the room, we're adding the door to the list. Right after we're adding the door to the list, we are adding the new exit points from the latest room to the exit list, right? That's what we're doing. This list already now have exits from all the other rooms it has made. So we want to clear this list and only add exit points from the latest room. And when the new room is added, we want to clear the list again and only add the arrows from the latest room, right? So every new room can only be placed from one of the arrows of the last room. And every time a room is placed, we will clear the list and add the new exit arrows. I mean, I know I sound like a complete maniac when I say this, but that will mean that we will get a linear dungeon. It only can select arrows from the latest room. Let me show you. Right, so we get the exit list here. Copy that, paste it, and then we will search for clear right here. And let's just try and plug it in here. So right after the exit point has been added to the door list, we will clear the list with the exit arrows, and we will add arrows again, but only from the latest room, and we delete all the rest. This should give a linear dungeon. That will come with some other problems. Let's talk about it. See, we're getting a linear dungeon now. We have problems here because it doesn't have space for the new room. And since there's only like 3 arrows to choose from, if none of them works, we're fucked. So we're getting this problem all the time. We have a timer. When that timer runs out, it will try and make a new dungeon. See, it runs into this problem all the time. I will not go into how to solve this problem. Hopefully you can figure that out yourself, something with collision. But this would be how you would make a linear dungeon. Doesn't work, but it's linear. Oh, we got one that worked here. And then we get all the spawns and doors, and everything is working, right? But most of the time it's not working. But let's just go back. Then of course you put it down here, make a caption, makes linear dungeon, right? But we don't need that right now, so I delete it and plug it back in. So another thing people are asking about is the first room that will leave a hole behind it, right? This room. There's nothing that connects to that, and there's no arrow, so we can cap it. So we have a situation here. So what we need to do is to actually make a start room, right? So we will just take this dungeon room 1, and we will call it dungeon room start. And it does make sense that you make a start room for your game. So the start room will look a little different than the other rooms. So you know when you come back to it, oh, that's the beginning. Let me just try again, right? So the thing is, we can go in, we can do the start room here, and there's 2 things we can do. We can add an arrow to the start room, so it can also spawn rooms in that direction. Or we can just cap it with one of these, right? Just do it like this. And we kind of just cap the hole manually in here. And that is what I will do in this case. I don't want rooms to spawn behind the player where he starts. That's just disorienting, right? So we have the start room. We select the start room down here. We go into the dungeon generator. And we have spawn start room. Right now it's just spawning dungeon room 1. We needed to spawn the start room. like this. Dungeon room start. I mean, and hopefully that should solve our problem. Let's see. We have the start room. It's kept, right? Because we just made a room where there's no hole. I mean, it's as simple as that, guys. Let's go in. Let's just try the other method and see if that works. So we should just copy one of these arrows, copy paste it, make sure it ends up in the same folder. Sometimes when you copy paste stuff in a blueprint, it will be parented to something else random sometimes. So make sure that it's, oh, we need to put snapping on. Make sure that it's in the right folder with the other arrows. Rotate this. Let's see if my theory stays true. It didn't. Let's try again. Nope. Where does my arrow go? Where does this arrow go? Let's see what we're doing here. It adds everything. Oh, I undid. Okay, so we need to put in the start room again here, because when I undid it, whatever it's called, it also undid this thing. So now we have the dungeon start room again. Let's see. See, there we have the arrow. The start room is here. This is the new back arrow. Here. So if you want the dungeon to be created all around you, this is the way to do it. Alright, so let me just, I like it the better way, so I'm deleting the arrow, capping the room manually here, again, like this. This is our start room, and it looks fantastic. So remember to save, guys. Okay. Let's make a dungeon exit. Another thing a lot of people are asking about. So you can, go to the exit point, you will complete the dungeon, and you will get a new dungeon. So we will make a new actor here, make a blueprint class, make it an actor. Let's call it dungeon exit. And we can call it BP for blueprint. I think we will only have one exit. If you have multiple exits, I mean, you could just place this multiple ways, and you will have multiple exits. So go into the exit here. We will add a collision, like search for sphere collision, which will be I usually call it trigger. This is the trigger box the player go into, and things will happen. I don't know, 200, just make it big. You can go down here and say hidden in game, remove that, so we can see it in the world. This is our exit zone, right? Go into this and you complete the level. So let's just take this, drag it in here so we can see the size of it. Make sure to place it, I don't know, and see why does it come in completely random, but it is what it is. set it to 0. Is the dungeon getting created in 0? It is. So let's just try and press play. So you can see it here. That's a good size. So the size looks about good to me. I mean, you can change it whenever you want. So let's stop this. So now we can see it. I think we already now need to go into the dungeon generation and find a way to place it. And I mean, of course, we're going to do the exact same thing as we're doing with the chest and enemies and coins. So we will copy. Let's just copy the chest here. Control C, Control V, place it, rename stuff, spawn, exit at location. We will rename this the same, spawn, exit at location, compile. All these amounts doesn't really matter because we only want one exit. So, I mean, we can remove the amount stuff here. Remove this one. We still want to select a floor spawn point. So we just plug it in here, and we still want it to spawn at the floor spawn point that has been selected. We need to change the actor that it spawns to exit, dungeon exit. Then we want to remove the spawn point from the list. That is also good, and then we don't care about the amount. So pull all this together so it looks awesome. So now we have this event. We just need to spawn it somewhere, and we will spawn it somewhere when the dungeon thing is complete. See, we're spawning coins, treasure chest, enemies. We're spawning doors and holes here. So this on this list, we can just place it at the end here. So open the event graph, spawn exit at location, plug that into the stream here. Right before the dungeon completes. Compile. Let's see if that works. Let's remove this one. Alright, let's search over here. Exit. Dungeon exit. That is right here. It will of course spawn on one of these arrows we have made in the room. I still haven't really figured out how to spawn things correctly in the dungeon without having to set up a ton of spawn points in each room. I mean, that's the way I'm doing it in you know, the Adventures of GORM. It's also the way I'm doing it in my secret game, Lab Rats. But I mean, there must be a better way of doing this. I have tinkered around with doing something like a volume box on top of the floor that selects random spots within that volume and ray trace down till it hits the floor, and then spawn things on the floor where those ray traces are hitting. But what if you have walls and other things inside that room? Then, I mean, if I figure it out, I will make a video about it. I promise you. But guys, the exit point is spawning, so that is absolutely fantastic. So we go into the dungeon exit again, then we go into the event graph. We don't need to do anything on begin play or check or anything. All we need to do is when the player enters the trigger box, then you know we will make shit happen. So go down here on component, begin overlap. When something comes into the trigger box, we don't know what it is right now. We also need to, I need to go into to the player character here to see his settings, right? The hero. I need to go in and see his collision settings. So where do we have collision? That is the capsule component here. Scroll down, let's see. It is just set to pawn. And pawn is blocking everything. I think when you click on blocking, it also automatically overlaps. So if you're wondering why can't I have overlap and block at the same time, I think if you select block, it also overlaps. I don't know. So we need to set the exit trigger to be something that the hero is overlapping. Right, and we need this trigger here. Go into collision, it is collapsed. We don't want to step on it. We want it to generate overlap, yes. We want to set it to custom collision. And we want to just ignore everything. We want this to be, this is the tricky part. I think we want this to be, what do we want it to be? We can just say, let's just say physics body. The hero is also overlapping physics body. And we need to overlap with the pawn because the hero is a pawn. Right, so this actor here can overlap with pawn. It is a physics body type itself, which the hero can also overlap or block. That's how I understand it. I mean, I'm usually fiddling around with the collision stuff like this all the time because, I mean, it's I don't know. I don't want to set everything to just overlap, like most tutorials are doing, or selecting in here block all or overlap all, because I kind of want to control exactly what is overlapping and what is not overlapping. All right. So let's just see if it works. We will start by printing a string. Print string. Like this. And we say overlap. Like this. So let's just try and play it and find it. It's over there. All right, let's go. I mean, also there must be this is a ridiculous way of doing it, guys. We need to drag it in here. Set it to 0. Oops. Set it in front of the player character, right? There's no reason to run around the whole maze every time. So there we have it. I go into it. It says overlap, so this is working. It's overlapping the character. It is probably also overlapping the enemy, right? Because I think the enemy has the same setup. Yeah, see, the enemy is also, it's just set to overlap all dynamic, and it is also overlapping the physics body. So the enemy is also overlapping. Now I want to know if we made the actor tags, because this will be important. Let's just search for tag. So this hero character has a tag called hero, which is important because then we could go into the exit here. And we can say the other actor we are overlapping Then we type in hashtag. Does the other actor has the tag hero? Branch. If it has the tag hero, we will overlap. Oops. If it doesn't have the tag hero, if it's false, we won't do anything. We won't overlap. We won't go any further. So let's see if it works. We go into it. It says overlap. Yes. If we change this to enemy, try again. It doesn't say overlap. It doesn't care about the hero anymore. So that works. And that means that when the enemy goes into the trigger box, nothing will happen because the enemy doesn't have the tag hero. Okay guys, so we can remove this. We know it works. What happens when the hero overlaps? We want to open level by name. Like this. The level is called third person map. That is very unoriginal, but here we are. Third person map. Remember, big letters and small letters are important. Compile, play, complete. Yeah, it loads a new level, a new random. Alright, that is, I mean, as simple as that. Of course, you want to not just open level, you want to go into a level complete screen or level select or upgrade your character or whatever. You see if it goes through. Yeah, nothing happens. Also, we can't die, but so, and then from the menu, you want to play next level, things like that. But instead of open the third person map again, you just open your level where you have the menu in it. I'm guessing you're having some kind of level where you are spawning all your menus in. I will not go into that, but this is the way you do it. The level is complete. And of course, you also want to do so that when the player character has, I don't know, 10 coins, when he have finished his objective in the dungeon, he can go to the exit. If he has not the amount of coins or whatever he needs to do, then he won't be able to exit. And you do that here also, right? You check right here if true, if the character has the amount of coins that he needs to be able to exit the maze. Okay guys, let me just show you how to do this coin thing anyways. Yeah, I just made a long speech about why I'm not going to show you how to pick up a coin and all that stuff. But I mean, it's such an important part to kind of complete some kind of game prototype and you will have something to do in the dungeon before you can exit. So let's just go right into it, right? You can always skip this part in the chapters in the video if you know how to do this already. So let's just find the coin. Where do we have the coin? Interactions. Coin pickup. See, we have organized our project very well. Coin pickup. What do we have? We need a trigger. Go in here, search for sphere, collision, call it trigger. We need to make it bigger, like this. Get it up, doesn't really matter as long as you can go into it. Go down here. Let's just turn off hidden in game so we can see the trigger. It needs to generate overlap. Yes, you can step on it. No, I mean, this step on is a weird thing. It just means that you can stand on it if your character jumps on top of it, or if it's set to no, your character will just bounce, boing, 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 till it drops off. It's an odd setting. Let's go into custom. No physics, query only. That means overlap only, no blocking. We will set it to, let's just set this to physics body also. Normally you would make a object type called, I don't know, interactions, which is the exit zone, the pickup and other things like that. So ignore all, set it to overlap the pawn, right? And our pawn, the hero character, is already overlapping physics body. So this should be it. Let's go in here, delete all this. We will do the exact same as the exit zone. On begin overlap, on component begin overlap, that's what we want. We want to see if the other actor has the right tag, has tag. This tag system is super powerful. Drag out, type in branch. Again, branch is also, if you hold down B on your keyboard and press left click, it will also make a branch. So if it has the tag hero with a big H, then this is true. We just tested it on the exit zone, so we just cross our fingers that it also works here. Drag out, type in destroy. Destroy actor. Let's see if it works. That means when you overlap the trigger on the coin will just destroy itself. So that works. Awesome. We don't want it to destroy. We want it to add 1 to our hero coin amount. So we need to go into our hero. We need to make a new variable in here in the hero called coin amount. We need to make it into an integer. Integer is just a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. A float like this is also just a point, but it has decimals, so it can be 1.20, it could be 3.58. We just want a straight number, so we choose the integer. Compile it. You can see to the right, he has the coin amount right now is 0. He haven't picked up anything. Right now we can go into the dungeon exit, and let's just do this check now. So if the other actor has the tag hero, that means that it is the hero. So we can drag out here. Okay, let me explain this another way, because this can be super tricky. We need to get the information from the hero. We need to get the information, how many coins does he have. So we will be using a node called cast to hero. We are casting to our hero blueprint. And that can fail. Maybe the hero is not in the game, maybe he's dead, maybe he's not available, I don't know. A lot of stuff can happen, so it doesn't work. Usually it works with the player character because he's mostly always in the game. But if you're trying to cast to an enemy that you have killed, for example, it will always fail. If you're casting to something else, like a coin you have already picked up, it will also fail. So this is tricky, and that is why in most tutorials people are just saving all their stuff on the player character. Right in here, everything is getting saved in the player character because he's always alive. And if he's dead, I mean you're not in the game anymore, you're in the menu or something else. So what I'm trying to say here, where's the exit zone? We need to go to the exit here. So we need to cast to the hero. We need to get the hero information. And what do we plug in here? That is always the problem. This object, I've talked about it before. What the fuck do we put in here? In this case, it is the actor that the exit zone has overlapped. This one. We know this is the hero because he's the only thing that can overlap with the exit zone. So we know this is the hero, and we need the hero to be able to cast to the hero. I mean, I can't explain this. It is what it is, guys. So we're overlapping with the other actor, which we know is the hero. Then we are casting to the hero because we want to get his information. You know, like typing in coin amount here won't work because right here we don't know that it is the hero. It could be any actor. But as soon as we get over here, if that other actor is the hero, then this will be true. And then we can get coin amount. We can get how many coins the hero has. So we're getting that information right here. And then we can say, if you can drag out here, if the coin amount is greater or equal 10, let's just see 3. So we don't have to run around the whole dungeon. So if the player has more than 3 coins or equal 3 coins, we make a branch and put it in here, then it will be true and we will open the level. If he has less than 3 coins, it will be false and we won't open the level. We can print a string here where we say need more coin. Let's see if it works. We go in, need more coin. You see that? Need more coin. Need more coin. Need more coin. Just like my everyday life, right? I need more coin. Don't have enough. So let's go into our hero character here. Let's select coin amount. Let's just set it to 5. And try again. Now we have picked up 5 coins. And we go in. And it works. The exit will allow us and it will open a new level. Let's set it to 3, which is the maximum we need. It still works. Let's try and set it to 2. We should not have enough now. See, doesn't work. Need more coin, right? Need more coin. Story of my life. Okay, so that part works. Now we need to go in. So the exit. This part just works now, which is great. So we need to go into the coin pickup here. It's the same thing as the exit. We don't know which actor is overlapping the coin. But let's just do it the same way as before. We're casting. Cast to hero. Plug it in. Because we know it's the hero that is overlapping, because that is the only thing we have allowed to overlap. So we know it's the hero, we plug it in. And if it is the hero, which we know it is, we can get access to whatever the hero has in his blueprint. So we need to get the amount of coin he has. Coin, get coin amount. And then we need to have this coin blueprint to add a new coin, another coin, to the hero's amount. So we drag out here, press plus on the keyboard and select add. we need to add 1 to the coin amount. When that is done, let's drag out again. Then we need to set the new coin amount. So type in set coin amount and plug it in here for it to work. And plug the new coin amount, which is this one, into here. Right, so we're getting the coin amount. Let's say he has 2 coins. We are adding a new one that makes it 3 coins. We are updating the coin amount here. We are setting the new amount to 3. And then we are destroying the coin itself. So let's go back to the hero. Set the coin amount he has to 0. I mean, you start with 0 coins, I'm guessing. Press play. Let's wait for some coins to spawn. There we go. Avoid this scary, horrifying ghost. We have 3 coins now. Let's get out. It works. I mean, there we go. And remember to save your stuff, guys. You can see this, I mean, you might be wondering, but it says 0 here. Yes, this is just the starting amount. It only changes this amount when you are in the game. As soon as you exit the game, it goes back to the starting amount again. So save all, save selected. Oh, of course, I forgot to mention in your coin in here, when he has picked up a new coin before we destroy the actor, you can do anything in here, like playing a particle effect and a sound effect, things like that. I mean, those 2 things are usually the 2 things you want to put in when you pick something up. And it's, yeah. So put your particle systems and sound effects in here. Spawn sound, spawn system is what it's called. And guys, remember to delete this exit first, so it will spawn with the spawn system instead of just right in front of you. Right now it's just spawning random. I can't find it, but we know it works and it's the same actor, so I don't think we need to test this. So another big request I've gotten is, how do you make an end room or a boss room, you know, a special room? And I'm not 100% sure how to do this exactly, because usually you want it to be away from the player spawn points, so you need to go through the dungeon to get to that boss room. Let's just call it boss room. And you know, best case, you probably would like to pick up a key first before you can open the door to the boss room. But let me show you how to place a special room at the end of the dungeon. Not at the end of the length of the dungeon, but you know, when all the rooms have been completed and created in the dungeon, when we spawn the coins and the chest and all that, we also want to spawn a special room. Let's just say that it is locked for now, so that the boss is not just getting out of the room and running after you. So let's make a special room here. And this special room thing could be a kind of a big tutorial in itself, so I will try and make it as simple as I can, just to get you guys started. You could also place the exit zone in that special room at the end. But let's just go into rooms. Let's clone dungeon room 1, duplicate it, call it dungeon room boss. Let's get into it. Let's just close all this down we don't use dungeon exit. We need the dungeon generator still. So here we have the special boss room, right? So we need to delete all these spawn things. We don't need anything else than the boss to spawn in here. So we just plug it in the middle. What is that, 1000 maybe? Yes. I mean, I would, if it was a boss, I would probably just make a special boss spawner like we did with the exit zone. Put it in here in this blueprint so that the boss will not use all these spawn points to spawn from. It's already in the room to begin with. Or you can make a blueprint spawner that is lying in here, and when the character picks up the key, it will spawn the boss actor itself, the creature. Yeah, I don't think I'll go into that, but let's remove the spawn point too, so no chest or anything else will be spawning in here. So we get into the room here. We don't want any exit arrows because we want it to be a closed room. So let's just copy paste these walls and close it. I mean, things will be overlapping here like this, but I mean, doesn't matter, guys. You please make your own rooms as awesome and as correct as possible. All you need from this video is the exit point stuff. So now you have a closed room. We can make the floor red. Go and find your floor and duplicate it. Let's call it boss floor. Open it. Make the color red as the devil himself. Okay, like this. And put it in here. Now we have a boss room, right? It doesn't get any more scary than this. So this boss room, let's go into the dungeon generator and spawn it. And as you guessed, we will do it exactly as we spawn anything else. But since we are not using spawn points, all this is spawn points, we want to see if we have any code that is using the exit arrows. Like here, spawn the next room. That is the code we want to use. So let's just try and copy this code. Control C. Let's just put it down here where we are spawning. This is kind of the area where we spawn things after the dungeon has been generated. So we plug it down here. Spawn boss room. Spawn boss room. Compile. And we need to make sure this will be spawned before the cap holes. Maybe this is just the code we needed instead. Let me think. Let's just try it. We don't need to set it as the latest room, because there's no more rooms after this. Maybe we will need to check for overlap. Probably. Let's just not do it for now. Spawn boss room. So to figure out where we are spawning the close holes, we want to spawn the boss rooms before the doors and the close holes. So right click, select find reference down here in the bottom. You can double click these. This is where we made it. The other one is where we use it. So we will just need to make room here. Make some room. Find the spawn boss room over here. Plug it in. So we're spawning the boss room as the first thing when all other rooms are created. Then we are making the last boss room before we spawn holes and doors and coins. So in theory this should this should just work. Now it gets a little scary again, but okay, we need to plug in. This doesn't matter because it will be the same room every time. To remove this red thing that is giving us an error, hold down Alt on your keyboard and left click it, and it will remove like magic. In the class we need to select boss, dungeon, room, boss. Compile. Let's simulate. Let's see here. There we have it. You cannot get into it because we need to remove the arrow. Interesting situation. We have to remove the exit point from the list, of course. Did we delete that before? We are removing it down here. This one. This is the part we need. And we also need to add the door list, right? Yes. Copy this, Control C, make some room. Plug it in. And of course, any programmer who's watching this will say that every time you copy something in the blueprint, you're doing something wrong. So this could be made into an event, for example, that you just drag in the event. A lot of this can be turned into small events, just like this. So everything gets organized and easy to figure out. But this is not a video about organization, right? It's a video about a procedural dungeon. Let's see if this works. It removes the selected exit point, which we get over here. When it places the room, removes it from the list and add the exit point to the door list so we can spawn a door. Compile. Let's test it. Okay. Very interesting. The reason we are getting all these problems is because it goes back to a check overlap, because we connected that one. And I'm not really ready to tackle that right now. Let's just see if it works. It does work. It gets a door. It gets no end cap. And we have the boss room at the end here. But you're just saying, but it's not it's not the end, it's in the middle of the dungeon. Yes, the boss room is just getting placed on any of these arrows that is left. We are getting the boss room here, and we are only getting one. And guys, I think, I mean, this could just escalate into a full game if I keep going on this. Right now we need a key. Now we need a closed door that will open when you get the key. Right, that means a special door. And then we need it to spawn away from the player spawn point, which is over here. We don't want it to spawn right here. I mean, and all these things, I'm sorry, I will not go into this in this tutorial, because I mean, where do we stop? Also because, you know, it's the same thing we keep doing again and again in this video. We're getting these spawn points or exit points, and we're spawning things on these points, right? Like a key, you would spawn the key the exact same way as you spawn the chest. You will spawn the new locked door the exact same way as you spawn the other doors. You only just spawn one of them. Instead, you're using the same systems here. Let's just stop. Like, I mean, you can see I'm just duplicating everything all the way. Every time I need something new, I'm duplicating it, putting it down here. And I mean, I think this is a fine way to do it. There's a limit to what new things you want to spawn in dungeons. So this, I don't imagine this would escalate. Of course, if you're doing Elden Ring, it will look, you would do it a different way. You will make this into one function that you just duplicate, and then you plug in chest amount, enemy amount into that function. But I mean, to keep things simple and easy to understand, this is a good way of doing it. Just make sure that you are organizing your stuff, and every time we add something new to the dungeon, I'm using these methods of doing it. And again, guys, that is the reason we're stopping the tutorial here. I'm not going to make a shop room or a special item room or a healing room or a mini boss room. I mean, you can do that easily by following what we have already done a lot of time in this dungeon. Make a new actor, duplicate the spawning system here, plug the new actor in, and you will have your shop room. Right, just make it blue instead of red, and add it down here, shop room. So that's it, guys. This is the last part of this ultimate epic legendary dungeon procedural tutorial thing, right? It doesn't get any more epic than this. And I'm sorry if I can't cover everything you need for your dungeon, but that would require a full game prototype course, and I'm not ready for that yet. Maybe in the future, I don't know. But let's just focus on this procedural dungeon and not so much else. It's up to you to fill the dungeon with all the stuff you need, and hopefully fix some of the problems that has been caused in this procedural dungeon. Right, it's not a lot. You see, when we press exit, we don't get any errors or warnings or anything, which means that we're doing something very right, actually. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this whole course, and thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.